A city that once sparkled with love and dreams glows again under the setting sun. The sound of footsteps echoes on the same Beverly Hills sidewalk where a story once began, a story of two strangers who changed each other's lives forever. The red dress, the smile, the limousine, memories that never faded, just waited. Now, decades later, something in the air feels familiar again. A new beginning whispers through the streets. As if destiny has returned to finish what it started, the city hums with the rhythm of life. But there's a certain stillness beneath it, like the calm before a song begins. Neon lights flicker on the corners of Rodeo Drive, catching the reflection of passing cars. The camera moves slowly across the storefront windows, showing rows of diamonds, silk gowns, and perfume bottles that sparkle under soft golden light. A woman's shadow glides past the glass, elegant, poised, but unseen. Her heels click with confidence, each step echoing with purpose, but her face never appears. She pauses for a moment outside a familiar boutique, her hand brushing against the cool glass. For a split second, she hesitates, then walks on. Across the street, a man in a tailored gray suit steps out of a black limousine. His movements are measured, calm, but there's something behind them, a quiet weight of memory. He adjusts his cufflinks, glancing toward the crowd. Somewhere, deep in that noise, a faint melody plays, a tune from long ago, carried on the wind like a whisper from the past. He looks up, as if the sound reminds him of something he can't quite name. The camera glides above the boulevard now, showing the beauty of Beverly Hills at dusk. Lights shimmer like tiny stars, cars pass in golden streams, and the world feels alive with the pulse of old romance. It's not just a city, it's a time capsule. Every corner holds a story. Every window hides a memory. Every turn feels like a step back into the heartbeat of something once lost. The woman enters a grand hotel lobby, where chandeliers glow like captured suns. The marble floor gleams beneath her heels. The world around her is different now, modern, sleek, efficient. But the feeling in the air is the same as it was 30 years ago. Love has changed, the people have changed, but the emotion, that never does. The camera lingers on the reflection of her silhouette in the glass doors. She looks like someone searching for something or someone, but too proud to admit it died as she walks further. The sound of laughter filters through the hall. Faint, soft, but unmistakably familiar. It's the kind of laughter that once made someone fall in love. The camera pans slowly to an old photo frame on a nearby table, a black and white image of a young woman and man smiling under the Beverly Hills sign. The edges of the photo are slightly worn, as if time has tried to erase it but failed. The frame stands as a quiet witness to the story the city once held. Outside, the evening deepens. A light drizzle begins to fall, and the reflection of the city in the wet pavement turns everything into a dreamscape. The woman steps back outside, holding an umbrella. The limousine drives past again, its headlights cutting through the mist. Neither of them sees the other. Not yet, but destiny is patient. It doesn't rush. It waits for the right moment, and tonight, it feels closer than ever. The final shot of this section lingers on a red rose left on a cafe table, drops of rain resting gently on its petals. The world slows, the sound fades, and the screen darkens. Only the soft rhythm of footsteps remains, a promise that the story isn't over. The night deepens, and the city becomes quieter, the noise of traffic replaced by the soft hum of rain and the distant sound of jazz spilling from a nearby cafe. The streets glisten like liquid glass, and the reflections of streetlights ripple across puddles. Somewhere in this silence, a memory begins to wake up. It's not a sound, not a picture. It's a feeling, faint but familiar, like the scent of perfume that lingers long after someone has left. The woman stops under an old streetlight, her umbrella dripping with rain. The light flickers above her, the same way it did all those years ago. She looks down at her shoes, a small smile forming, not because of joy, but because of recognition. Time has changed everything, yet somehow this moment feels exactly the same dot in a quiet apartment high above the city. The man stands by the window, staring at the skyline. The room is dimly lit, the walls decorated with framed photographs of charity galas, business meetings, and newspaper clippings about success. He should feel content, maybe even proud, but the look in his eyes tells a different story. It's the kind of look that comes from years of wondering what if. On the table beside him, an open jewelry box sits untouched, the red velvet inside glowing under a soft lamp. Inside it lies a necklace, delicate, perfect, and never given away. His hand reaches toward it, then stops halfway, trembling slightly. He closes the box gently, as if afraid the past might escape. Meanwhile, the woman walks into a small bookstore tucked between two tall buildings. The place is warm and cozy, the kind of shop that smells like paper, rain, and forgotten stories. She brushes the rain off her coat and runs her fingers along the spines of books. Her hand pauses on a romance novel, its cover faded with time. She flips it open, and a small photo falls out, a picture of her younger self, laughing in a red dress, standing next to a man with kind eyes. For a long moment, she just stares at it. The noise of the city fades. Only the heartbeat of memory remains. The scene shifts, flashes of the past begin to blend with the present. The screen fills with quick glimpses, a pair of hands holding across a table, a hotel balcony bathed in morning light, a reflection of laughter in a mirror, a limousine door closing as a rose falls to the ground. These moments are not shown in full, only as pieces of something larger, a love that once burned bright but slipped quietly into memory. The visuals flow like a dream, blurred by emotion and time. Back in the present, the man sits at a piano. His fingers press softly on the keys, playing the same tune that once made her smile. The music fills the room, echoing through the walls, through the city, through time itself. On another side of the city, she hears the same melody from a nearby street performer, almost as if the universe is whispering their story again. She pauses mid-step, eyes closed, as the sound washes over her. Her lips part, as if to say something, but no words come out. Only silence, heavy, beautiful, and full of everything left unsaid. The rain stops. The camera drifts upward, showing the city from above, glowing alive, yet touched by nostalgia. The man looks out his window again. The woman stands under the same light where she once waited for him. The distance between them feels both infinite and small, like two parallel lives circling each other, but never quite touching. The music continues, gentle and haunting, as if the world itself remembers. A single line of light moves across the screen, the first light of dawn. The rain has washed the streets clean, and the world looks new again. But some things don't fade with time. They grow deeper, waiting to be found once more. The woman starts walking again, this time slower, as if her steps are guided by something unseen. The man closes his eyes, letting the music fade into silence. For the first time in years, he smiles, not because of what he sees, but because of what he feels. Somewhere out there, a heartbeat matches his own. The screen fades to black, leaving only the sound of soft laughter echoing through the air, the same laughter that once made a city believe in love. Morning spills over the city like a quiet promise. The sun rises behind the skyline, painting everything in shades of gold and amber. The rain from the night before still clings to the edges of windows, tiny drops catching the first light of day. The streets of Beverly Hills awaken again, car doors closing, coffee cups clinking, heels tapping against the pavement. Yet in the rhythm of ordinary life, something extraordinary begins to stir. Something invisible but alive. The woman steps out of her apartment dressed in a simple cream-colored coat, her hair tied loosely, a coffee cup in her hand. She walks without rush, the calm confidence of someone who has learned the value of time. The world around her moves quickly, people on phones, taxis honking, shop doors opening, but she walks through it all as if she's moving in a different tempo. Her eyes catch on small things, a red rose in a flower cart, the reflection of a couple laughing in a cafe window, the sound of a street musician playing a tune that feels almost too familiar. She pauses for a moment, her lips curling into the smallest smile before continuing down the sidewalk. On the other side of the city, the man adjusts his tie in the reflection of a car window. He's older now, but the sharpness of his eyes hasn't faded. It's just softened, shaped by years of quiet understanding. He's heading to a meeting, a presentation, another deal, another day. But when his driver stops at a red light near a boutique, his gaze drifts outside. Through the glass, he sees a dress, red silk, shimmering under the morning light. For a second, everything else fades. The world pauses. He doesn't move, doesn't speak. The driver's voice pulls him back, asking if he's ready to go. He nods, but his eyes linger just a moment longer, caught between then and now. The city feels like a stage today, new faces, new stories, but an old melody playing underneath it all. The woman walks past the same boutique the man just saw, unaware that moments before, he was watching. Inside, a young shop attendant adjusts a mannequin dressed in that same red gown. The camera lingers on it, catching the shimmer of fabric and the faint reflection of her face in the window. It's as if destiny is painting a circle, slowly closing the distance between two souls who once shared the same light. She stops at a cafe she hasn't visited in years. The bell above the door rings softly as she enters. The air smells like roasted coffee and warm bread. She finds a table by the window, places her coat neatly on the chair, and takes out her notebook. On the page are scribbles, ideas, quotes, maybe fragments of stories she's been writing. She starts to jot something down but pauses, distracted by the sound of the door opening behind her. A gust of wind enters the cafe, carrying the scent of rain and cologne. She doesn't look up, but something inside her stirs, that strange, quiet knowing that happens when the past stands close enough to touch. The man walks in, speaking softly to the barista. He orders black coffee is simple, no sugar, the same way he always did. The barista smiles and says, "You look like someone who's been here before." He chuckles politely, unaware of how close he is to the truth. As he waits, he glances toward the window, and there she is. Not her face, not completely, but the side of her profile, her hair catching the morning sun. His breath catches, his hand tightening around the cup. He hesitates, torn between moving forward or letting fate take its course. The world outside the cafe continues without pause, but inside, time bends. Two people separated by decades are suddenly inches apart again, though neither speaks. The woman looks out the window, her reflection overlapping with his in the glass. For a moment, it seems as if they're standing side by side again, not in reality, but in memory. The camera lingers on this overlap, the merging of two timelines, two lives still connected by invisible threads. She stands to leave. As she turns, a napkin slips from her notebook and falls to the floor. He bends down to pick it up at the same time she does. Their hands almost touch, almost. Her voice, soft and careful, says, "Thank you." He nods slightly, unable to find words. The moment passes, but it leaves something behind, a spark, a pulse, a whisper of what once was. She exits the cafe, her steps fading into the crowd. He watches her go, not knowing if it was truly her or just the ghost of a memory brought to life by morning light. But one thing is certain, for the first time in years, he feels awake again. The camera pans out to the city, glowing under the sun. The red dress in the boutique window catches the light once more, a silent symbol of love reborn. Somewhere in that golden haze of morning, the past and the present begin to blend. And a new chapter quietly begins. The evening sky bleeds into shades of violet and gold as the city slows down again. The rush of the day softening into a quiet hum. Streetlights flicker to life one by one, and Beverly Hills begins to glow like a constellation built on memory. Somewhere between the blur of headlights and laughter, two lives move closer without realizing it, the rhythm of fate pulling its final threads together. Inside a small art gallery tucked between two luxury boutiques, guests mingle with champagne glasses and polite smiles. Paintings line the walls, portraits of faces unknown, but eyes that seem to hold secrets. The woman stands in front of one canvas, her hands folded neatly in front of her. It's a painting of a couple on a balcony, the city sprawling behind them, their figures half lost in light. She tilts her head, studying it. There's something hauntingly familiar in the way the artist captured their distance, close enough to touch, yet holding the space of years between them. She takes a slow breath, her reflection blending with the painting for just a second. Across the room, the man enters quietly. His suit is sharp, his expression calm, but his eyes move with purpose, scanning the crowd. He's not sure why he came, maybe an invitation, maybe curiosity, maybe something else entirely. He moves through the gallery, his footsteps soft against the polished floor. His gaze rests, uninterested, until he stops. He doesn't know what makes him pause, the painting, the silence, or the faint trace of jasmine in the air, but suddenly the noise fades. And then he sees her. She's not looking at him. She doesn't even know he's there. But in that single moment, everything he's tried to forget floods back. The laughter, the arguments, the nights that felt endless. The camera slows. Time folds in on itself. His breath catches, and for a second, he looks like a man who has just seen a ghost. She senses something, a shift in the air, the kind that only happens when a memory turns real. Slowly, she turns her head, and their eyes meet. There's no music, no dialogue, only silence heavy with years of distance and everything left unspoken. The room around them blurs. The crowd fades into a haze of color. Only the two of them remain, caught in the gravity of what once was. Neither moves. Neither smiles. They just stand there, the past flickering between them like an old film reel. Her expression softens first, a quiet disbelief mixed with something warmer. He takes a step forward, then stops, unsure if he's dreaming. Finally, she exhales, the faintest trace of a smile forming. "It's been a long time," she says softly. Her voice trembles just enough to betray the weight behind the words. He nods, his throat tightening. "Too long," he replies. The simplicity of it feels right. No rehearsed lines, no clever words. Just truth. They walk together toward the balcony at the back of the gallery. The city stretches below them, lights shimmering like stars trapped in glass. The silence between them isn't awkward. It's comfortable, familiar. The same silence they once shared when words weren't needed. She leans on the railing, her fingers brushing the cool metal. He stands beside her, hands in his pockets, the faintest smile on his lips. "Do you ever wonder what would have happened if we hadn't let go?" she asks. Her voice is calm, but there's something raw beneath it, the question that's lived in her for years. He looks out at the skyline, his reflection overlapping hers in the glass. "I used to," he says quietly. "But maybe. We just needed time to find our way back." The wind stirs, carrying the faint hum of the city below. For a long moment, they say nothing. Then she turns to face him fully, and he finally sees her, not as she was, but as she is now, stronger, softer, real. He smiles, not the practiced smile of a businessman, but the one she once knew, the one that felt like sunlight after rain. She laughs, that same laugh that once stopped the world. The sound is gentle, brief, but enough to make him close his eyes for a heartbeat. It's all still there, the connection, the warmth, the unfinished melody of their story.